There's parking. And there's parking too. There's so much parking.
I was gonna say there's actually a lot of parking.
Yeah, there's a lot of parking.
Surprisingly.
So you don't have to go all the way around to that specific spot. I mean, there's one right there. Oh, you're passing it. It's fine.
There's another one right next to it.
Oh, so you're really set on that spot, huh? Okay, we can go to that spot, I guess. And oh my God!
Please don't run over a child.
I don't want to start my new year off with child murder. That would be nice to not do that.
I was gonna say child murder. Oh.
Nah. You were gonna say it?
I was gonna say child murder.
Well, yeah. It's like we finished each other's child murder.
Child murder, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay, wait, let me straighten out. Hey, here's something I've never really asked you about, like, your life. Is the whole thing you did with modeling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So my understanding of modeling in the industry is that it's just the most all-inclusive, like really like non-judgmental.
Oh no, there's no judgment.
Yeah, no judgment. It's all
super nice.
Everyone's nice. They just go, oh yeah, of course. Everybody of all anything.
They're like, oh,
can
you
come
gained
in.
10 pounds. It's so fine.
Oh my God, you look so
great.
Yeah, you look great. So that's exactly what it's like.
Yeah, no, exactly.
No, but really, like, what was it like?
Well,
actually,
gave me body dysmorphia.
Did it really?
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay.
I mean, like, I kind of probably had it before, and I kind of sort of had an eating disorder before, but
it
no, it definitely,
exacerbated
yeah, definitely made it way more intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started modeling when I was like 16, 17, kind of just with like friends and like blah blah blah, and then this photographer found me on Instagram and did a shoot with him, and then he got me signed to like this woman who got me signed to a big agency, and. Yeah, it was, looking back on that first shoot, even though it was super weird, the guy had, like, I don't know if I could say, cat butt plugs. He had butt plugs, like, in his bathroom that had, like, cattails on them. And I was underage, I was, like, 17, and he was trying to get me, like, naked and, like, do a shoot. It was super, super weird.
With butt plugs?
No,
oh, okay, I didn't know if it was with butt, I was like...
No, not with the butt plugs.
Okay.
God.
I'm sorry.
No, but, it's just super weird. I think that's, like, pretty... obvious that it's very sexualized from like a very young age. You know what I mean? Like models in general.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's all aesthetics.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. Yeah. But then, I signed to this person, and they like how all agents do, I think, promise you the world.
Yeah. They really build you up.
Yeah.
And then
and everything started off like fine, normal. I was doing shoots and having fun, and I was. At one point, I think that it got, like, pretty obvious to me, like, what it was gonna be like.
Yeah.
When, my measurements are, like, 30, 21, 33, and I was, like, I'm 5'9.5-ish, and I weighed, like, 100 pounds, 105 pounds. So it's, like, brink of passing out every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were telling me, they were like, can you, like, lose a little bit of weight? Like, can you lose a little bit of weight, like, in your thighs and your butt? And I'm like, I don't know how I could possibly
physically
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I tried, because, I wanted to do it, so I tried for a while to do, like, walking and running and stuff like that, but I just immediately get, like, lightheaded and, like, almost pass out. So it was like, I mean, I can't do it. And, like, I was, like, literally every day I was eating, like, a cup of rice and, like, a little bit of asparagus. Like, that was, like, my diet for, like, and sometimes I would go, like, 3 days without eating.
And because they told you to do that.
Yeah.
And this was were you already in so you had an agent?
Yeah.
And then this is what...
like right before I moved to LA.
Okay. And then that's what they told you. Did you go to I've always heard of those, like, you ever see the movie The Neon Demon?
Yeah, I've seen Neon Demon.
So is that, like, kind of accurate where you go into a room with a bunch of other models?
Yeah, well, it depends. That happens a lot more so in New York.
Okay.
That's, like, a casting call. That's pretty, like... it's not that, like, extreme, but I did know a girl who went to a casting call who they, like, put all these, like, nude bodysuits on them and lined them up, and, like, they were like, you're fat, leave, you're fat, leave, you're fat, leave.
Just like that, not even...
Yeah.
Holy fuck, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've been called fat, like, at a casting call before. They put me in a bikini, and they were like, no, you're too fat. Like, just take it off.
And then they just
leave.
go, like, next,
yeah,
leave.
Yeah, exactly.
So you had to have these... There's just all these rules, like you can't go outside of these margins of, like, oh, you have to be this certain...
Oh, definitely.
This certain weight, you have to be this height, this everything.
Now, I will say, which is, like, the first time I feel like I can actually say this, is, like, it's definitely changing now. Like, this is the first time, like, very recently that I've seen, like, an active change in everything. You know what I mean? Like,
In the industry?
I don't think it's agencies at all. I think it's companies.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you have like Aeropostale doing their airy stuff with like plus size models and stuff like that, and I think that's fucking great.
Why do you think that is? Just because of social media?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it was so like they were like kind of forced to. Like I feel like there's not really another option. Or you can be like Victoria's Secret and be like a dickhead and be like, yeah, we're not gonna like allow that type of people like in our shows. And it's like, well then fuck you, I'm not buying your stuff. Like, you know? I think that companies kind of like woke up and realized like, oh, we need to like get with the times. Yeah,
because it's like, I would imagine when you're going into a place and you're looking at, or even in a magazine and you're looking at photos, like,
that's the thing I never understood is like people can't relate to that.
Totally. You can't.
And I don't know, even when I was like super skinny, I mean, I know that like for me, I guess I could relate, but still I had body dysmorphia, so I was like constantly comparing myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I not as skinny as this person?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I feel like up until like very recently there was like a normal woman's body was not represented. I have friends who are still models, and you know there is healthy ways that you can go about doing that.
Yeah.
But still, at the end of the day, I mean, you're not physically like healthy, unless you're one of my friends. She's like a fitness model and she's like super in shape. That's like a completely different thing than like what I went through, which was like, you know, being anorexic and like dealing with an eating disorder and like that being something that was like, in a weird way, it was like that was like part of my job, like to have an eating disorder, because that was the only way that I could stay what they needed me to stay. I mean, one of my agents emailed my mom, and it was like, she's going to all these parties and like fucking doing this and they're getting fat and like blah blah blah, and I'm like, I've gained like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Like 10 pounds. And I'm 5'9". I weigh like 130 pounds, 120 pounds, whatever. Yeah. And like, you're telling me that I'm fat? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, now, I weigh like 150. Which is like, I look healthy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I look extremely, I weigh the most I've ever weighed in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I think that's because, like, I quit modeling.
Did you meet, like, when you were in that like world, what were the people like when, like, models?
For the most part, I haven't really experienced like a airhead, like, you know?
Yeah.
Like a...
Just somebody that's just like a vapid, like, empty, like, kind of...
It's like, I'm super hot.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like a lot of people that are like really like hot and are models, they're self-aware enough to know, like, okay, I don't want to be like known as just this hot model, because there's a stigma of like all models.
See, that's the thing I was gonna say. I feel like I mean, especially for me personally, I feel like a lot of the reason that people model is kind of just to get their face out there so they can like transition into something,
acting or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, because like me personally, I just wanted to do art.
Yeah.
And I was like, I used to want to make clothes, and so I was like, oh yeah, modeling is like a perfect way to start doing that. But yeah, and then I just like grew and learned that it's really shitty.
Yeah. Are you happy that you're not in it anymore?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like for sure. I definitely. I mean, I still do shoots with my friends and stuff, and like, cause I like the actual like act of modeling. I think it's super fun. But I'm definitely glad that I don't like have an agent and have to go to casting calls and like do all of that anymore, just because it's like it takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
I mean, to be in an industry where you're constantly like comparing yourself to someone else, or someone else is comparing you to someone else.
Yeah, that's worse.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's difficult, and it definitely like
it's demoralizing.
Yeah, it takes like a toll on your who am I? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what? Because like some days it's like, what do I even look like?
Yeah.
Like, it's bad.
Wait. What do you mean by that? What do you even look like?
Just. It's just so weird and confusing to explain, but like, it's like, imagine looking at yourself in the mirror, and you like can see your body, right? But you can't understand if you are like tall or short or fat or skinny or like anything like that. Like you just can't really like make that like, you know, put a label onto it.
Because it kind of does, but is that because of the what everyone's telling you should look like?
Yeah, well,
sort
of. I think it's more so just the fact that like, you know, I grew up my entire life like way taller than most people.
Yeah.
And because I hit my growth spurt in like middle school. So like in middle school I was, you know, 5'8".
Yeah.
Just towering over everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then to like go into an industry where everyone's extremely tall.
Yeah.
Or like your height or taller. And to be like told that you're not tall enough, but then like your entire life you're like freak giant. And then someone to be like short. You're like, wait, what? But what am I?
You're throwing off my reality.
And then to like, you know, in like 6th grade I was a little bit bigger, and then I got small, like really small. It's kind of like where my eating disorder started in like middle school, like before modeling definitely, but like it heightened whenever I started modeling.
Yeah.
And like to go from like, you know, being like people making fun of you and telling you that you're just tiny and skinny and like gross and like all this other stuff when you're in your middle school, and then you are skinny, I guess, technically, because like I still don't know, but then like to go and be 5'9" and weigh like 105 pounds and stand in front of these casting directors who are like, you're too fat to be in my show. It's like, but am I fat or am I skinny? Like you don't like, you know, or like, I mean, my mom would call me and she'd be like, you're getting really skinny, like you need to do something about that. And then to like 5 minutes later go into a casting and then be like, you're fat.
Talk to Hans and he's like, oh my god, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, I feel like his name's Hans for some reason. It just sounds like a guy that would judge somebody for their weight. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
but yeah, no, I get that. So you're having a bunch of Hanses like kind of like scramble up your perception of yourself.
Yeah, I think that Jesus.
It's all right. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, it's weird because I mean, like, you know, body dysmorphia is different for a lot of people. I think I think that, you know, all mental things are different for everyone.
Yeah.
But I mean, me personally, my body dysmorphia is just like, you know, I like can't tell if I'm tall or short, or I mean, I know that I'm tall. It's weird. Yeah. But like some days I'll be like, I'm kind of like short today. It's weird.
Yeah.
And then like the weight thing is the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah.
Because like I've weighed like 145 to 150 pounds for like 6 months, maybe 7. And like every single day I'm like, okay, have I lost or gained 10 pounds? Like, because I can't, like, I'll like look at myself and I'll be like, you look fatter today. It doesn't make sense, but you haven't done anything, or like you haven't like eaten anything that should have made you like gain a bunch of weight. And then like it just doesn't, like my brain just like can't make sense of that. Yeah.
And that's just something that you've had since you were a kid.
Well, I mean,
and it just got exacerbated by
definitely. It's weird because like the tall short thing has definitely been like a thing since I was little. Like and it's also weird and hard to explain because it's like in my brain I guess necessarily not in my brain, but like I know that I'm tall.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I know I'm a tall person.
I mean, because they'll tell you you're 5'9".
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, that's
like, you know,
tall.
That's tall.
Yeah.
But it's just it's one of those things that's just like weird and I can't really even explain it. You know what I mean? Like like I mean I explained it to a therapist and they were like, but that sounds.
Oh, they were just like they knew that was body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Okay. And that did you find out specifically it was body dysmorphia like recently, or was it like something you've known? Because it sounds like it was just confusion.
No. I mean, like when I was in middle school, and I've gone to therapy pretty much my entire life.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Just because I think it's super healthy, and I was like trying to explain. I was like, I keep having these dreams where like I get really tall and then I shrink and like I like blah blah blah, and then I get really like wide and like really thin, and they're like, and I'm like, and that kind of like sometimes will translate into real life. Like I will think that I'm taller or think that I'm shorter, or like definitely like think that I weigh more than I do, or like stuff like that. And they're like, that sounds like body dysmorphia, and you have an eating disorder, so it like makes sense. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right.
How do you cope with that?
I think that the biggest thing that I had to personally stop doing was obviously like just comparing myself to others.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I had to stop saying like, why don't I look like this person? Or like, you know, blah, blah, blah. And like sort of turning that into like respecting someone else's beauty, rather than like being jealous that I don't have that person's like whatever I want of that person. Be like, oh, that person is beautiful for this reason, not like, why don't I look like that?
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's mainly like what it's been to just help.
Yeah, that's helped.
Yeah,
but it's still,
not gonna
it
just gonna go. Yeah, it's not gonna go away.
But I think that's a good like, you know, thing.
It's a good outlook.
I mean, like, yeah.
To not constantly be comparing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I, you know, have done, like, been through some shitty shit, and I think that like a big part of me like took those things and like allowed myself to be angry at the world and like everything else. So I like went through like a time period where I was just like kind of just being like bad and awful towards myself and other people because I was so like upset with the world and how things were going and the way my life was and like why is this happening to me and stuff like that. But like you know, to like move on and like grow from that was it's nice. I mean, I think that I've changed a lot from who I was, because I mean I was a lot more sad than I am now.
Yeah. So then you're kind of okay.
Yeah,
sort of.
More so.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people that I look at, I can go, they're kind of okay, sort of. Like they're not great, they're not good, but I think that's fine. I like whenever I talk to like even somebody who has the best life on the outside, I talk to them and just nonstop like screaming in their head of like a bunch of problems that they have, because you have no idea what someome's going through.
Yeah,
you have no idea what's going on in someone's head. So like, I think I mean, I'm happy that you're doing okay. I didn't know that like, I really do think that the modeling maybe just made it all just way worse.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Modeling definitely like heightened anything that was like anxiety, depression, all of those things. Like, you know, eating disorder. Yeah. It just kind of made it like, put a microscope on it, lit it on fire.
Yeah.